Hello, Year 2, and welcome to today's English lesson. How did you get on yesterday? Inferring the feelings of Gabby in the story, at different parts in the story. Did you manage to work out how she felt? Brilliant. Well done if you did. Now, the last 2 days we've looked at 2 different skills. We've looked at prediction and we've looked at inference. Now, can you remember what those words mean? What did prediction mean? Yes, you're right. Prediction is when you guess what's going to happen next based on a picture or what you've already read in the text. You guess what happens next. Fantastic. Well done for remembering that. Now, what did inference mean? Tell your screen. What does inference mean? Yes, that's right. Inference is when we act like a detective and we use clues in the text or a picture and our own knowledge to answer a question, just like we did yesterday with the feeling. Fantastic, well done. Now today we are going to be looking at sequencing. Now we've done this before with Little Red Riding Hood and we also did it with the Great Fire of London. But can you remember what the word sequencing means? Pause the video now and have a think. Okay, should we see if you were right? So sequencing is when you identify the different parts of a story or an event and you put them in the order in which they happened. So you put them in the right order. Chronology is almost a synonym of sequence. So it means putting events in order, putting them in the right order. So the thing that happened first, and it happened second, third, fourth, and so on. Okay, now let's look at an example. So here we have the chronology or the sequence of a baby's life. So first, they are born, then they learn to crawl, then they become toddlers and learn to walk and talk. Now, learning to walk and talk has to be there, doesn't it? It couldn't be before learning to crawl because that is not the way in which it happens. That is not the order in which it happens in. You can't learn to walk before you learn to crawl. So it has to be in this order, the order that it happens in. So first they are born, then they learn to crawl, then they become toddlers and learn to walk and talk. After that, they start nursery, and then finally, they start school. So, could we have starting school before starting nursery? Would that be a correct sequence? No, it wouldn't, would it? Because you don't start school before you start nursery. You start school after nursery. So therefore, in our sequence, it has to come after nursery. Let's look at another example. So here are all the lessons that we have in the morning at school, if you remember from last half term. So there's maths, lunch, Eric, English, phonics, and break. Now I haven't included the afternoon lessons because we don't always have the same lesson in the afternoon every day, but the mornings are always the same. Now, we need to put these events of the school day in a sequence. We need to put them in chronological order, the order in which they happen. So, pause the video and have a go at this. Okay, did you manage to get it right? Now I had a go as well. Should we see if I was right? Okay, here's my sequence. Do you agree with my sequence? Have a little look. Something doesn't quite look right with my sequence. I've got Eric, maths, break, phonics, lunch, English. What's wrong with my sequence? Tell the screen what's wrong with my sequence. Ah, yes, you're right. We don't have phonics after break, do we? When do we have phonics? Yes, that's right. We have it after Eric and before maths, don't we? Ah, I'll change that in my sequence now. Well done for noticing. So now I've got Eric, phonics, maths, break, lunch, and English. Something still doesn't look right. What is it? Tell your screen, do you know? Ah, yes, you're right. We don't have English after lunch, do we? When do we have English? That's right, we have English after break and before lunch. Let me change that too. Brilliant. So now, have we got our sequence correct? So we've got Eric, phonics, maths, break, English and lunch. Yes, our sequence is correct now. They're in chronological order, the order that they happen in. Fantastic. So now that we've done that, I want to add some sentences to our sequence. So just a simple sentence saying what is happening. Now, pause the video and have a think. What could we have as our sentence for the first picture? Okay, do you want to see what I thought of? I'm sure you might have thought of something different. So number one, I put, we start the day by reading a book in Eric time. So that's my sentence. Did you have something similar? Brilliant. Now, number two, remember when we did our explanation text, we used adverbs of time like after, next, then, finally. Now, in your next sentence, I want you to include one of those. So pause the video and think of your sentence for phonics. Okay, have you finished thinking of your sentence? Brilliant. Do you want to see what I wrote? I put, next, we learn new sounds in phonics. So I've used the adverb of time next at the beginning of my sentence. Did you use an adverb of time too? Now next, we have maths. So can you pause the video again and write your simple sentence for maths? Can you use another adverb of time? Okay, have you written your sentence? Great. Let's see what I wrote. I put after phonics, so I've used the adverb of time after, we have our maths lesson. There we go. What about number four? Pause the video and think of your sentence. Okay, shall we see what I wrote? I put then we go to the playground for break. Did you have something similar? Did you use an adverb of time too? Fantastic, well done. Now, after that, we have this picture here, number 5. So can you think of your sentence for that? Okay, have you thought of your sentence? What did I write? Let's have a look. I wrote after break, so I've used the adverb of time after again. We write some brilliant stories in English, which we do, don't we? We write some excellent stories. Now, last one, number 6. What could we write as our simple sentence for that part of the sequence? Pause the video and have a think. Okay, shall we see what I wrote? Maybe you had something similar. Finally, we go to the dinner hall to eat our lunch. Okay, now I've used the adverb of time finally. Why have I used it there? Can I use it anywhere else in our sequence? No, I can't, can I? Because finally means the last thing that happens. Now, on to your task. So we've been looking at the story Bubbles, haven't we? With the little girl Gabby. What I want you to do is, like we did with our mornings at school, I want you to sequence the story. So using these pictures, which are on your worksheet, Year 2 English, 8th of January resource, or if you don't have a printer, you can draw the pictures, that's fine. I would like you to sequence the story and also write a simple sentence for each of your pictures to say what is happening. Now remember, it's a story, so it's going to be in the past tense, isn't it? Okay, so that's the end of our English lesson. So now go and write your simple sentences and sequence the story of Bubbles. Now it's going to help if you watch the video again before you sequence. Enjoy the rest of your day, Year 2. Bye!